Hey everybody, welcome back to Wealthy Sailor. Now, if you're like me, you might be watching YouTube videos of different financial people to try to learn more about, saving money, budgeting, investing, stuff like that. And you've probably seen something along the lines of this, or this, or this, or even this. Now, all of these have one thing in common. They're trying to sell binary option trading. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about what that is. Binary option trading is marketed as a trading platform that allows you to log on and you basically make short-term bets on whether or not a stock will go up or down. So I had an account, and um, I'm not going to say the name of the website because I don't want to push any of these websites to anybody. Um, but I had an account years ago, and I went in, and what you'd basically do is you'd put in $50. And then when you make a bet on a stock that will go up, you actually get that $50 deducted from your account. If you win that bet, meaning that in the end of the time period it does go up, then you get $90 back, which is an 80% profit on your $50, which sounds good, right? Except for the fact that you might be able to tell what like the price of gold's going to do in 10 years from now, a year from now, even 6 months from now. But these bets are usually about 15 minutes to an hour long. And I gotta tell you, it's nearly impossible to gauge this, which is why that even on the website, it clearly marks it as bets. It's because you're not investing, you're gambling. So my personal experience with it. So back in 2012, I was working in Greece at the time, and I sat around at an office. I was a manager, and I didn't have a lot to do because I worked the night shift. So I was thinking, how do I maximize my time here? So I got into investing. In fact, I learned a lot about investing while I was there. But one of the things that I did poorly when I was there was I found binary trading. I was actually looking for option trading, like day trading, because a friend of mine told me you could make a lot of money there, and I wanted to learn about that. And I kind of accidentally found this. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but option trading, or like day trading option trading, usually has a cash limit because you usually can lose quite a bit of money really quick, and they want to make sure that you have the reserves to cover it. Binary trading didn't have this limit, so I'm like, great. So I opened up an account, and the first deposit has to be $200. They won't let you put anything less in there. And I opened up the account while I was at work one night, so I started fiddling with it while I was at work, and before I knew it, I was up almost $1,000. So, my shift's over, I go home, I get some sleep, I wake up, and I'm like, well, let me try that again. So I go on there, and I get another about $1,500. So in the short time of maybe the first 36 hours, I was up almost like $3,000 with all the different bets stuff in there, and I was winning a lot of bets and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty neat. So I take $2,000 out. So that left me with, I think, about $500 or $600 remaining to play around with. So I continued that, and I lost everything else I had. So the way it kind of works is that it doesn't force you, but it only gives you a limited type of bets you can make. So let's say I did mostly gold and oil commodities, but you could also do stocks, you could also do currency. I avoided the currency because I didn't really understand it, but I did get involved with the stocks. Now, most of the stocks, and this should have been a red flag, were all European stocks. The only stock I heard of was Barclay, which is a big bank in the United Kingdom, and I've never used them before. I've never even seen a branch. I couldn't even tell you what the logo looked like. But that was the only one that really I recognized. The rest were all like European stocks that I just did not know. And it's because that the company that I did it with was actually based in London. I tried really hard to find a US address, and the only thing I found was an office in New York. But when I looked it up, it was at a very small office building that had like 40 different companies working there, and it was only like a 7 or 8 story building. So I remember thinking it's really small to have like a huge trading office. Like, I'm not sure how big the office for E-Trade or TD Ameritrade are, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty big. So that was kind of a red flag. So you put your $200 in, and you can start making bets. Now, so when you have the commodities, and you have silver or gold or oil, what you do is you click how much money you want to put in. So the minimum was $25, but I usually did 50. And then you got to pick the length of the bet. So I think the longest they had was 24 hours. But the shortest they had were usually about 15 minutes to about 45 minutes to an hour. The reason it fluctuated was because depending on when you put the money in, depended on when it ended. So, for example, if you put the money or if you place a bet at like 05 of the hour, then the bet will probably end at 30. But if you put it at like 15 of the hour, it won't end until like the next hour, the start of the next hour. It's just the way it worked. I'm not really sure why. I'm sure there's some sort of algorithm that gave them an indication that would be better to do it that way. Now, at any time, you could sell your position. You would never get as much as you obviously would if you won, but if you sold your position, you'd make back a little bit. So the further your prediction became, the less money you get back if you sell off early. So, for example, you lose your $50 because that's being held as a bet, but if you're about halfway there and you're just a little bit below, you might get $45 back if you sell right then and there. But if it's like a minute before closing and you're now like have this huge gap between what you thought would happen and what actually happened, you'll be lucky if you get like $10 back. But they do have that option on there. Okay, so I took the money out and I decided I'm never putting that back in. And after I lost the money I had remaining, I started doing research. That's right, I did research after I lost my, because when I first put my money in there, I was doing so well, I was thinking I don't need to do any research. I got this. I know everything about this. Look at how much money I'm making. It wasn't until I started doing poorly that I started looking it up. So I looked up how it worked and everything, and some people claim to be making good money on it. The problem is that the people who claim to be making good money on it usually had a very specific platform they would talk about. So I felt like their opinions were like less trustworthy. I felt like they were trying to pitch me that platform, or it was just a paid advertisement from that platform disguised as a person talking about it. So I looked into it and everything, but then I started just doing simple math, and simply speaking, it's gambling. You have a 50-50 chance of being right, which would be fine if you doubled your money when you're right, but you don't. You make 80% back, which means that even if you're right 50% of the time, you're still losing money. And it's just an awful way of investing. And the fact that they disguise themselves as investing platforms really aggravates me because they're nowhere close to investing platforms. They are gambling, plain and simple. So, as you might have noticed from my thumbnail, by the way, do you like the thumbnail? This is one of the few videos where I made the thumbnail before I made the video because I was sitting at work at my desk and I didn't have time to get away to make the video. But I'm like, let me maximize my time and build a thumbnail. So I built that before the video, which makes makes things a lot better because then I know what to talk about a little bit better in my videos. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. It took me some work and I'm getting better. So my final thoughts on binary trading. If you go into it thinking it's gambling and with money that you're totally okay with losing, then maybe try it out. I'm not even going to say the name of any platforms on my channel because I'm so against it. To me, this is like me suggesting somebody go out and buy a lottery ticket. Like, it's not so much I have a problem with it if you do it smartly, but I'm sure as heck not gonna push you in that direction. I don't think it's smart investing. I mean, it's better off you put your money in a savings account than to put in binary options. But I did feel like I should be honest with you guys and tell you about the fact that even though I preach against it, I did do it. Like, the reason I preach against it is because I did it and everything I learned from it. So anyway, to give you an idea of how shady binary options is, I want you to look at this. When I saw the best trading platforms in Nigeria, I could not help but in my head think of those email scams where they try to get you to send money to a prince that has millions of dollars but just needs to get it through customs or whatever. I know it's unfair. I mean, like, every country has their trading platforms, and I'm not saying that they're not legit. I am saying though that binary options in its current format is nothing more than very fancy gambling. it gives you a candlestick chart, it gives you regular graphs, and they do this all as a way of masking the fact that it's gambling. They give you charts when you make your bets to make you feel better about placing the bets as if you know what that chart's going to do in 15 minutes. When the reality is that I don't think anybody can. Now, here's the thing. I could be completely wrong. So if you're one of those people that actually gets binary trading and you can reliably have a good income on it, please leave a comment below because I would love to hear your story. And I would also like to know if I'm wrong so I can make a video and be like, hey guys, I was wrong about this. You should do this. But from my experience and my knowledge, I don't think it's a good idea. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by to the Wealthy Sailor. Get it? Wealthy Sailor, because I was in the Navy. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. If you liked my video, give me a like, subscribe, whatever. And thanks for stopping by, and keep saving.